Hey everyone. In this video I'm going to show you an interesting, interesting thing about this game. So if you played Azurik before, you would know that part of this area, the water realm, is over there. There's the whirlpool. After you've defeated the water guardian, that whirlpool deactivates. And then after you've killed the water guardian, the earth guardian, and the fire guardian, a spaceship, or actually, what do they call it? It is, sorry, the airship, will dock over there. And then you can use it to access two areas of the air realm. Normally this is very late in the game, and you can't do it until you've got about air powers 2, water power 2, fire power 3 possibly, and earth power 2. That's about the powers you're intended to have before you get there. But the airship is actually accessible before that, as it is actually located under the map, very far into the map. But we found a way to actually get to it, and I'll explain more as I get there. But I'll explain how to get to it. First, we got to do a couple of clever jumps, stand on some of the terrain over here. And then this is the first hard jump. And I'll save in case I fail, because I still fail this one sometimes. But what we're going to do is, I could give myself air power 3 and make this jump easy, but I'm doing it the way that you could do in a real playthrough of the game, if you had the appropriate powers for that area of the game. In this case, air power 2 is all that really matters. The other ones don't have any form of maneuverability benefit, but I'm dumb. You're supposed to do a one roll jump there. Alright. But basically we're trying to jump over to that collision terrain there, so that we can get out of bounds, and so we can go below the map. No. Yeah, dumb mistake first time. You're going to want to be careful over here. What you can do is you can actually just hold forward, and you'll never actually fall, even though it's going to look like you will. I actually prefer to basically use air power 2 and then buffering jumps, where you hold the button even before you're on the ground, and then you'll jump as soon as you hit the ground. And that will, I don't know, that makes it easier enough for me. And I prefer to do it that way. I find it a bit safer, even though the first way is very safe. I suppose I don't trust it, is the thing. But anyway, you follow this path up this way. Alright, and we get to this area over here. This is also where we will do the jump to hit a trigger to go try to get the third water disc fragment, or a water disc fragment. I suppose you can get them in basically any order. But what we're going to do here is we're going to do a 5-roll jump. If we don't, we're going to die before we hit the water. So now, we stare out into this vast blue ocean without seeing much, and determine where the whirlpool is. And you can see some slightly lighter coloring around the surface where all the white water is. We start swimming towards that while holding down. And eventually we're going to be able to see some of the terrain. And you'll want to make sure you don't travel through it, because then you'll be back in bounds, and we don't want that. Alright, there we are. So yeah, we're very near the bottom of the whirlpool. The way the whirlpool works is it's a giant cylinder where there are 2 layers. There's a smaller cylinder at the bottom, which will basically just kill you, but that's actually really close to the center. Basically, as you see how that narrows to a point, it's basically only the that area. But as far out as the white water is, there's a invisible, I don't know, like a wind box, I suppose is what I would call it, that pulls you in a circular direction inwards. But what we're going to want to do is we keep swimming downward and zoom out a little bit, I find helps. But eventually we're going to pass, there it is, the bottom of the world, basically. Or at the very least, you know, the visible bottom of the world. And you'll notice that the water extends a little bit lower than that. So what I will do is I will zoom in and then hold right trigger, and that'll set your camera in a specific position. And then I just get my character, Azurik, a bit lower in the water than where the camera is blocked. Now I'm going to save the game, because this next part is dangerous. So the way it works is, down here, as I approach, you'll see the water start picking me up and start moving me. We've got the airship. So it's just hidden down here, waiting to be discovered. And it's interesting because we can't just go down to it because the water doesn't extend that far. You notice that it'll kill you by reaching terminal velocity. But that's just... whoops, I was swimming down too far. But that's just fine. Because I've discovered what I'm calling air fluttering. And that's using the air power as you're falling to extend the length by which you can fall before hitting terminal velocity. And as you can see, I was able to hit a specific part here. It's actually right here. The way it works is I didn't actually hit the ground, because if I hit anywhere else around here, while I wouldn't be at terminal velocity and die in the air, I would hit the ground at a lethal speed and die because of that. So I specifically have to hit right here, because it never actually considers you as on the ground in this area. And what that does is it negates your momentum to where you... Okay. To where you can touch the ground without dying. This is cool. This is an insane find, actually. I actually discovered this specifically because me and TempoJesus, another one of the Azurik speedrunners, would do these bingo races where there were certain challenges that we had to complete. And I was like, oh man, I wish I could get to the air realm to complete certain challenges in our race earlier than, you know, super late in the game. Because it basically meant that the air realm would never really be showed. So he knew about this and showed me the fact that the airship is down here, but we had no idea of getting down here without cheats. Because something you can do is, if you save the game in the air, then when you reload, you don't take any falling damage. You just fall forever. Which is actually cool in some areas, like the life realm and some of the air realms, because then you can get a really good view of the skybox. In this case, this one's not that great. But in every map, if you go outside of the bounds of the map and you just fall, you'll fall for a couple of minutes, and then you'll eventually hit the bottom. And the bottom is nothing. It's just an invisible floor, like quite a ways down. But, yeah. So far, we haven't found much use for the fact that you can get to the airship early. Oh, there we are. I've used it in the Obsidian % run, less because it's fast and more because I wanted to. Though there is some benefit to getting Air Power 3 early. So, yeah. I don't know, it's a really cool discovery. I had no idea, you know, a year ago that the airship existed down here. And the fact that we can get to the air realm technically before killing any of the Guardians is bonkers. And I love it. But anyways, this is a cool trick. Wanted to show it to you guys. But I think that's all I've got for this one. Anyways, see ya.